It's Sea-Duck again is brought to you by Hackensack Brewing Company and their Imperial Pilsner Auga, which was created in honor of the legendary DJs The Awesome Two. Thick Crates, pure hip-hop satisfaction. Check out their limited edition new releases available now on Instagram. Weaponized Records, an independent music label serving up underground hip-hop. The revolution will not be televised. It will be weaponized. And the Spitslam Record Label Group. The Spitslam Record Label Group, a Chuck D situation. Catch us on your favorite streaming platform, on Bandcamp, or visit our official web store at spitslamrecords.com. All releases are available digitally or on CD, with select titles available on vinyl and cassette. The Spitslam Record Label Group. Throwback to the future sound.
It's C-Doc again.
Relax your mind, let your conscience be free. Get down to the sounds of CDOC. What's up, everybody? It's C-Doc again. Welcome to the show. Gonna have some fun tonight. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we're gonna have a good time, right? It's Tuesday, 9 p.m. It's 9:02. Anyway, but we're not gonna have fun alone. No. Gonna introduce the crew. First up, she got her start at the first in the world 24-hour all rap station, KDAY in Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, Our Lady from the heyday of KDA, Jennifer O'Jetty.
First in the world.
First in the world.
Absolutely.
You know, I actually practiced that earlier, and I got here and I still goofed it up. Jeez. I see you're in the Christmas spirit, though. You got the peanuts going on. I like that.
Oh!
Yeah!
Speaking of which...
Okay.
Now, what is it called? I just ordered a...
Peanuts
Zoetrope vinyl.
Oh, I saw that. That's dope.
That is so crazy good.
Yes, that is dope. Awesome.
So crazy good.
Yep. That is fantastic. You know what you get for that. Yes.
I just want to see it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That looks cool. I saw that too. So.
It looks so cool because the minute you start playing it.
Yep. Exactly.
They're doing the.
Yeah. They're doing the Peanuts dances and stuff. Love that.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy.
Love everything
good.
about it. Yep. Very cool. Gotta keep us updated on that, Jennifer. Let us know when you comes in.
I want to know where they got it done. Exactly.
Right. There you go.
Basically why I got it, because who did that?
Right. Exactly. Yep. Also joining us tonight, he has the dopest account on Instagram. If you don't follow him, you truly are a sucker. Ladies and gentlemen, the Culture Clip King himself, Ultramag 7.
Tables. Jennifer, what did you call it? It's called a Zoe.
Zoetrope.
Zoetrope.
Okay. I don't know if he did it, but you know what record needs that? The Large Professor at Large.
That would be crazy,
right?
Yes,
that's like the
great idea.
So, I don't know. Do you have the vinyl for that record? I mean,
I do.
I'm figuring it doesn't have you.
No, it's just standard black vinyl. But that is a great idea for that.
He should reissue that and put that out. That would be
killer.
That album is bananas anyway. But
yep,
I'm so excited to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
There's a guy on Instagram that I follow, and I think he's French, and he makes his own like versions of those, and they're really really cool. But I saw that Peanuts one. I was like, that's really impressive. I should probably get that myself.
It's not cheap, but it's, you know,
Yeah,
it was like 50 something bucks. But
So
how freaking cool.
cool as hell. Yep, exactly. Cool
And
as hell.
again, I want to know who did it. So
Right, exactly. And how can we get those made?
how can I be down?
there you go.
What's up? You say you want to be down, ease back. Okay.
You could have a Yag Fu with Fisto doing.
Yeah. With the
You
eyes.
could have a,
I'll be down.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I said make it glow in the dark.
Yep. The creative possibilities are endless. Yep.
Too much fun. I cannot wait.
Too much fun.
Hmm.
Too much fun.
Who's in the house?
Who in the house tonight? Benjamin One? Dan?
And
What's up?
what's happening, people?
Hello, hello. It appears our guest is here.
Oh yeah.
There he is.
Yes, let's get started, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show our guest tonight, renowned artist and hip-hop head, Sanford Greene.
Yes.
Where's the clapping?
Oh, yeah, wait, hang on. I don't have enough hands. Hang on. There we go. There we go.
Thank you. Apologies. Crazy holiday stuff. Trying to, deal with all the big rush. And I saw Jennifer. I saw your message, and I was like, "Oh no!"
It's all good. It's all good.
Made a mad dash. So
thank you for.
I still have on my because it's down here. It feels like New York, man.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
It feels like New York here too. I guess I don't know. I'm freezing.
Where's down here?
South Carolina.
Oh, you guys are getting the chill, huh?
Yeah, there's a blizzard I think coming through Thursday, Friday, something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I've lived in South Carolina. That's gonna shut everything down. So
yeah, we don't know what to do down here. We lose our minds.
Yep. Everybody goes crazy. Everything stops. And
yeah.
I've been there, sir. I've dealt with that. So.
Much like California, but
Yeah.
that's if it rains even.
Yeah.
It never rains in Southern California, Jennifer.
That's what you say. As the song goes, right?
As the song
does
goes.
not.
How are you? How are you? Other than that, Sanford, how are things?
I'm good. Like I said, just trying to, get holiday stuff together and just finished a few projects and gearing up for some other stuff.
Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? The latest?
I was going to say he's about to say which I can't talk about.
Yeah, I can't really talk about the upcoming stuff, but obviously, I think the reason why when you guys reached out to me initially, it was my involvement with Mass Appeal, and
Really?
yeah, it was you. Okay, yeah, man, dude, that was I don't know, man. It's a dream come true. To meet your, to me, you're the GOAT, to be able to connect with Nas and his entire operation. And of course, Marvel is involved with it. It was some crazy, like full circle type experience.
And for those who don't know, what can you detail your involvement?
Yeah. So there was a so Mass Appeal, the record label, or I guess even they're a media conglomerate at this point. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff, but from the music side of things, they produce 7 albums this year, all legendary groups and acts. And the rollout, part of the rollout was to do all these different forms of entertainment. And I guess the comic aspect of it fell in place. I would say around April or May of this year.
Okay.
And they reached out to Marvel. Marvel was definitely interested, and then they reached out to me, and so we basically produced a one-shot special that featured every hip hop, every legendary group act in depicting them in the Marvel multiverse. I don't want to say the Marvel universe because it's technically the multiverse, meaning the Marvel proper what is not necessarily a part of it, but they're in the sphere of it. And so we thought it would be kind of cool so that we can kind of create their characters, the mass appeal characters, and build that world. And so that's pretty much what I did. I did the designs. I came up with the overall concept of what that would look like for each group, for each act. And yeah, we put the book together, and it debuted at New York Comic Con. I don't know if any of you guys were there. That was a pretty insane. It was insane. That was insane. You're talking tens of thousands of people at that event, and we had a big signing there. Yeah, just tens of thousands of people, and it was one of those things where, again, it was just to be amongst, Nas, De La, Ghostface, Raekwon, and then I met Slick Rick. That was, I didn't know what to do with myself. I'm like, I think I'm good now. I can retire, and I've done. I think I've done it all at that point.
MC Ricky D.
Oh my gosh, man! And he was so chill and so down to earth. I mean, obviously, you see him, but just to meet him in person, and it's like, you're the same person, which sounds weird saying it, but yeah, it was definitely an incredible just moment to, everything stopped. Like I freaked out when I met Nas inside, not out.
Yeah.
I try to be cool with that. I was definitely, excited to meet everyone else, but when just, seeing Slick Rick there, that's like, oh my God, that's my childhood. That's, oh geez, man. So yeah, it was cool. It was awesome.
Did they know who you were? Because I know Paz is like a big comic fan. So
that's my dude, man. Yeah, Paz is like a really good friend. Like I even tell him to. I was talking to Paz the other day, and I'm like, dude, we're like friends. What is that? That's crazy to me. That I listened to you, growing up, and just was a fan from day one, and now we're like hanging out, just having small talk, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. And but yeah, he's a fan. Funny story. We've known each other. Oh man, almost 10 years, probably 10 years now. But we met for the first time earlier this year at Wu-Tang's Final Chamber tour. Was at the New York show.
Yeah.
And that was even crazy that he kind of, Paz just showed up at the signing. So the RZA was there and I was there. So that was already crazy. And then Paz, he texted me. He said, "Yo, you were in town?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, where at?" And I told him Irving Plaza. is where we had the signing. And he was like, dude, I'm staying right down the street because we're wrapping up the album. I'll come and check you out. And I'm like, wait, what? you're gonna just waltz in here. I'm like, I don't know if it's gonna be that simple for you to just walk in here because of who he is, right? And sure enough, I mean, he just walked in. He just walked in, and people were like, wait, there's so that, you know, it was crazy. It was so crazy. That was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the first time we met, was that moment. And we were, for years, two ships passing. We would talk all the time, you know, phone, text, but never met physically. How we initially met was, again, another hip hop comics crossover. Marvel produced about 10 years ago these hip hop variant covers.
Oh yeah.
And so that's where it all kind of jumped off. And I was fortunate enough to have been a part of that. I kind of helped curate it, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah.
The editor at the time, Axel Alonso, reached out to me and said, hey, got this initiative we're about to start. I know you're a big fan. And he was a big fan of the genre. And he said, hey, do you know of, or could you help me curate this thing? And I'm like, dude, you had me at hello, you know. I'm like, yo, man, I can't, you know, like, absolutely. So we reached out to a ton of different artists that we, you know, one, were dope artists, but two, they would understand the assignment because they're fans of the genre, right? So we definitely had a great time. But that's how we met, me and Paz, because I did the De La Soul. I did a crossover variant with De La Soul and the X-Men, kind of depicting their first 3 Feet High and Rising cover, but I used the X-Men characters. And so that was pretty much what the initiative was to take actual classic hip hop album covers and implement Marvel characters within that whole makeup. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a pretty awesome thing.
How did they select which albums they were going to do?
So that was part of the curation. Was, you know, we had a list, or at least they you know, had some ideas, and you know, we, you know, some of us artists that were really entrenched in the culture, we said, hey, what about this album? Paid in full. You know, there was some easy ones, and then we were like, okay, what else can we do? Because for every, we had so many titles, comic titles.
Yeah,
we felt like needed to have some type of hip hop variation of it, and just trying to. We looked at what the titles were. Like, you know, again, some of the easy ones was, you know, Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Nas, the Illmatic, which
right.
The cover right now is going for it's going for a lot. You know, the De La X-Men cover. It you know, it just had to be the crossover had to, you know, meld well together. So that's where we, you know, that's what we had to do. We were basically helping direct and curate, you know, what albums were important to depict, and what characters would meld well together with those album variations. And so yeah, we you know, again, we just had a list. We had a list of easily 100, you know, albums.
Wow.
So, you know, you can go online and just look it up, and you'll see every variation. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty wild stuff.
Thank you for the critical beatdown one. That was
that look, when I first started following you, I was like, I wondered if he knows about this hip-hop variant.
I wish I could pull it out, but I have that one.
No doubt. Yeah.
I don't have them all, but I had to
Right.
have that one.
I got a friend. You guys probably know DJ Clips, Eric Wynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another one. He's a huge collector. Pete Rock, that's another one. All those dudes, they're huge collectors. But Eric, Eclipse, he has every variation, everyone, even the ones that are horrible, even the horrible ones. He's got all of them. He's got all of them, and he's got two. He's got two of everything. He's got two.
Of course, he's a DJ.
Yeah, he that I think there's something to be said about that. I think that's why this hip hop and comics thing is so like the crossover is so seamless, is because of the creative approach, but it's also the curation approach as well. Like DJs collect, and so we collect as well. And I love album covers. I think that was the other thing that was so cool about doing the hip hop variant initiative, was because for me as a kid, I bought albums, hip hop albums, when I was first, discovering the genre, based on what the cover looked like. I can remember distinctly Run DMC when I was a kid, like maybe 10, somewhere around there, and Rockbox album first came. That's still one of my favorite album covers. It's just the design of it is just it's beautiful. I love that design of it. It still has it still holds up, in terms of a design, so even at that early age, I looked at album covers like I looked at comic covers, like who's on the cover, so yeah.
Did you know Eclipse from South Carolina? Did you meet him later? Like, did you guys know each other?
So yeah, we met here. That's how we met. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, pardon me for saying this, but I was like, oh, who's this white kid thinking he could DJ? He just had this style that was so like, I met him at a party, a friend of mine at a party. I was in school here, and I went to an HBCU, Benedict College here. And he was DJing a party for one of our college parties, and I was enamored with this white dude up there. He knew all these cuts, and I'm like, who is this dude? So I remember almost like a weird kind of like stalker. I kind of waited until the party was over so I could go meet him. I'm like, yo, man, who are you, man? And we were cool ever since. So we're talking, I've known Eclipse, now 30 years at least.
Yeah, a long time, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Real quick, one last thing about the comic variant covers. Were there any albums you guys wanted to do but didn't get a chance to do?
Dude, I think we did everything that we can possibly do, because there were albums that I was strongly against. Like, don't do that one. But Marvel, just keep it a buck. Marvel was very, once they saw the dollar signs, they were like, oh yeah, let's. So they milked that bad boy to death. So yeah, we did everything.
Gotcha.
I mean, funny story. I really wanted to do. At the time, I was working at Marvel. I was working on the title Power Man and Iron Fist. That's Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Iron Fist, right? And we brought it back after a long, hiatus. Me and David Walker, we brought that back, and it flew off the shelves. It was a hit off the rip, and so they wanted to do a hip hop variant with Power Man and Iron Fist. And the first album I could think of that would look great was It Takes a Nation. Luke Cage in the front, that would be like where Chuck D was, and Flav and behind him, and that would be Iron Fist. And for some reason they they switched it. They told me yes, and then they switched it to another title. I forgot what title it was. It was like it's the title's not even, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. But once that happened, I was like, they offered me another album variant, and I wasn't interested in that. So they got, and then finally they got, I forgot the artist, to do Mobb Deep, Infamous.
Infamous.
Which that one is a good one too.
Yeah. Yep.
I, you know, that Nation, I was so locked in. I wanted that so bad, and it just didn't work out.
That would have been dope.
Yeah.
Thank you for Power Man and Iron Fist.
Thank you.
When I was a kid, that was probably my favorite comic book. When I was a kid, like I loved Power Man and Iron Fist. So
thanks.
Wow.
You guys rebooting that was superb. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of a full circle moment for me, because like you, I grew up, you know, some of my first what do you call it? Some of my first like introductions to characters that were Black and brown characters, because obviously, you know, Spider-Man, Batman, Captain America, Hulk, all those characters. But then, you know, you start to get more of those comics, and you see more characters. And the first character that I really noticed, Black character, was Falcon. As a matter of fact, on my spinner rack over here, I got it somewhere over here. That was like one of the first comics I ever got, and I got it because he was on the cover of it. It was an Avengers 140 issue 141, and I got that. Well, my mom got it for me. I begged her, please, can I get this comic? And she was like, as long as you read, you know, and stay out of trouble. But yeah, I got that comic, and the character, to your point, Luke Cage, Power Man, that was the second character. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this ad that was in the back of the comics promoting when the series was about to launch. This is back in the days. On after, it can be a Spider-Man comic, but you finish your story, and at the end of the story, you get this big splash of Iron Fist talking to the reader, saying, "Hey,"
finger out.
It with a finger.
Sienkiewicz, Bill Sienkiewicz did that. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so you know, I mean, and the page turned because Iron Fist is talking. Yo, man, don't get my homeboy upset. You gotta buy her a book. It was like dopest promotion. I've been searching, trying to find that original art, because my goal is to own that stuff. I want to own, because it's a 2-page. And I'm friends with Sienkiewicz actually, and he said you don't know what happened to it, and I'm like, you know what, it'll be just my luck, but he probably threw it out or something. You know,
he is my favorite artist. Like I used to. It was so funny. My friend, he used to collect the New Mutants. I never really read the New Mutants. But then when it was Sienkiewicz and Claremont, and my friend hated the artwork. He hated it.
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I was like, yo, I love this. So he just gave me all his New Mutants comics, and then I just started collecting them from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got some, if they're in decent condition, man, those things are they're valuable. They're definitely.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. That's the one I got, Jennifer.
Yeah. And it's funny, like I know the artist that look, no, I'm not bagging. This is when we kind of dropped off. Like it was me, the artist Mike Del Mundo, and an artist who goes by the name Juan Doe. We were kind of like the initial guys that helped to curate and bring in dope artists, and we kind of fell off, and went on and did some other stuff. And so Marvel they just kept doing it. And again, that was a dope album, but the artist that they got, I'm telling you, that dude has no clue. He saw the album, he probably was like, oh, okay. And so he did it. I know him. I do know him. He's a good dude. He's a dope artist, but and so that once that started happening, I was like, yeah, I think you guys are trying to, you're milking this thing now. It's like, at least that cover got recognized.
Yeah.
Some of these are hysterical. Some that I'm looking at are hysterical.
Yeah. One of my favorites was, like I mentioned, Wando. He did the Chronic. And he had the Doctor. Oh, wow. You're talking about
Strange.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know what this, I know what this is, but I'm like, yeah, this is, I know it's supposed to be the MC Light.
MC Light.
Yeah, but it's like this weird, like they started to go for, like, our goal was to do the really iconic ones, right? But then you also wanted to do what we call your cultural, for the culture ones, right? Like that one. But you also had to make sure that at least our initial goal was to make sure that character-wise it really meld together, like what Marvel characters would make sense being on something like that. And that's when I can tell you right now, we were not involved at the time when that happened. Dope album cover, but that the cross comparison was, it didn't quite work.
Sanford, when did you get into hip hop?
Oh man, like I said, I mean, when I was a kid, I think we're all kind of in the same age range. Before there was, the internet, we had Soul Train, right? And my first time seeing, Run DMC and, as a kid and honestly, Public Enemy. I remember Public Enemy being on Soul Train, singing Rebel Without a Pause.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I remember when Chuck took the microphone stand and threw it in the audience. My 10-year-old brain was like, these dudes are, and all these, you got all these, like, I don't know, what are they, like soldiers? What are these militant guys up here? Like, my brain couldn't take it. My 10-year-old brain was like, yo, this is insane. Like, I want this, I want to be a part of this. And funny story, I searched. Well, I there was a record store in town, and again, I'm young, so I'm, I go grocery shopping on Saturdays with my mom. Right, that was our pastime back then. Right, I get to go out. In the comic store, there was a drugstore that had comics, and about a block away there was a record store. So this is like, I'm in heaven. Like, my two things are right, together. I hadn't really started doing the record thing just yet. I was listening, to radio, but the Soul Train was probably the first time that I was able to, see. Once you see it, it's like, wow. Now it adds another element, especially seeing Run DMC and LL Cool J and Salt and Pepper, like all the all the big ones from that time, right? They were all there. So I started buying the magazines. And now you're starting to see, behind the scenes a little bit, when you saw the magazines. And so that made me even more interested in, the music. I started to go to the record store and begging my mom for, to buy my first tape. I think my first tape was Rockbox. I'm pretty sure it was. And I remember getting the single to the show. I remember getting that. Funny story with the Public Enemy. I thought that song that I heard on Soul Train was going to be on the album,
Oh yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
So I got this album, and I'm like listening to it, pop it in my Walkman. I'm sitting on my porch, and I'm, just I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there waiting. Okay, next song, next song. Got to the end of that thing. I don't think I listened to that at the time because I was so hurt and disappointed with the one song. I was done. I didn't listen to that album for like, I don't know, months. I came back around to it. But at the time, I was probably, 11, 12, somewhere around there. Started listening to it. And then, of course, 88 happened. And
Yeah.
oh, God, man, that was
Yeah.
88.
88 happened.
That's the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when the doors flew off for me. I mean, I bought everything. Especially Def Jam. If it had Def Jam on the label,
Oh yeah. Yep.
or Cold Chilling on the label. If it had those two, I didn't even listen. I didn't know who they were. I just saw. I was like, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spend all my allowance money on comics and hip hop tapes. That's it. That's it.
I'm with you.
Were you drawing at that point?
Oh yeah. Man, you're gonna make me go real deep here, man. Like I said, I was like around 12, 13, 88, right? So I'm drawing a lot, and I have a lot more. Like I'm being introduced to all these different, like everything. Like even for comics, 88 was huge because we had Daredevil, Mark. Oh geez, my brain is Frank Miller.
Yeah.
You had Dark Knight. You had the Watchmen. All these things that are like luminaries now. All the stuff came out around that time. Yeah. And so the art started to change. The Todd McFarlane started drawing Spider-Man like roughly around that time. Like right before, 1990 or so is when they really took off. But 88 was where they first started. Like Jim Lee came into the industry. Tom McFarlane came in. Rob Liefeld came in. And there's a host of all these guys that are like legends now. They were all like starting to make their, way around it. So 88 was just like the portal open to the whole multiverse.
Right.
Yeah. So I was drawing and listening to music, and I remember I was so fascinated with the whole concept of the crew, the posse, like the Juice Crew. Mm-hmm. I didn't know everyone, but I knew that there were, a lot of them, right? And I would go on this quest trying to find every member that had, do they have an album? I'll buy it, because, you get your first glimpse of all that stuff. And so I drew, and I was drawing and creating my own crew. I was going to be I was like a mogul. I was, Russell Simmons, and I created and drew like my version of Run DMC, Salt and Pepper, and it was crazy. I wish I could find those drawings. I had a file full of just art, based on these characters that I made up that were, hip hop, personas that I created. It was crazy. And I drew myself in there as like the mogul, because at that time, it was kind of cool when you started to explore, just like in comics, you explore like who's behind this song and who produced this, who's the, and so you hear about the Fly Ties and the Herbie Love Bugs and then the producers started to become a name like Marley Marl and all these guys. So now I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like I didn't realize it, but at the time I was doing what I did with comics. Like, oh, where's the origin? I need to find out the origin of how did Luke Cage get his powers? How did, where is the what is this thing called? And the Infinity Stones, which was a concept even back then, or the Cosmic Cube. I need to know this stuff. And so once something caught my eye, I needed to get the full effect of it.
Yeah.
Bro, listen, I remember one summer when the Marvel Universe comic books used to come out. We would just get them, whatever one, A to Z, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We would sit there and read them and be like, well, the Thing can't beat the Hulk because he's got this, and we read every bit of it and just like battle each other with like, yeah, this one can't beat Bullseye, can't beat Daredevil because this. It was crazy,
dude. Funny, I was this close. If I didn't feel like going through this box, is a box over here. I've got the whole set. I got the whole set, A to Z.
Oh wow!
I got the DC version of it too. I got the DC versions of it too.
Who? Yeah.
Who's Who?
Oh yeah, the Who's Who. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's Who was much better design wise, right?
Yes.
But nobody cared about no characters. Characters were whack. Those characters were whack, man. The art was beautiful, but the characters were.
Let me. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because when I was a kid, when I first got into comics, it was just what I knew. So I knew Superman, I knew Batman, I knew the Hulk, I knew Spider-Man. But as I started collecting, I gravitated more towards Marvel because the stories were rich. I didn't want to read about Superboy, Superdog, all this super stuff. I came back because there was some other, I used to like Etrigan, I like the Demon, I like Legion, like Lobo. It was different. But did you have that, or did you collect everything as a kid?
Dude, I think there's something to be said. I think it's a kind of a consensus that, especially at that time, Marvel was head and shoulders above because they had characters that were a lot more relatable. They were street level.
Yeah.
They had they had flaws. They were flawed characters, like Peter Parker had girl issues.
Yeah.
Who couldn't relate to that is, at the time, or, he needed to, make some money and he ain't got no money and he's trying to, be a hero at the same time. And he's feeling the pressures of all that kind of stuff. And so, whereas you got Superman and Batman, they're like almost godlike figures. So it was hard to relate to a lot of that. So the stories were, you just couldn't connect to the stories. But that's why characters like a Lobo or, the Demon, those kind of characters had some edge to them.
Right.
And you gravitated towards them. They just didn't promote them a lot back then. But when they came out, people were attracted to it. But that's why Marvel was head and shoulders, man. Even Thor. I met we've since become good friends, Walt Simonson. Yeah. Yeah. So as a kid, I just remember looking at his art, and his art looked like it was so kinetic and so full of life and energy. It almost reminded me of graffiti. And I remember a few years back, I told him, I was like, yo, man, your art, I said, when you were young, were you looking at graffiti at all? He said, no, he said, I'm from the Midwest, dude. Which that don't mean anything, but back then he was like, no, man. He said, I just kind of went with, energy. He was looking at a lot of the European artists, which, could be said, could be argued that they were looking at graffiti because, a lot, you do your research, a lot of those cats in, Europe, and surrounding areas, they got enough of it. They kind of inspired by it. But no, I said, hey man, I said, dude, you honestly got street cred, man, because when we were little, everyone was talking about you. All the black kids were talking about how awesome you were. Yeah.
That Beta Ray Bill cover is everything. Like that. I remember my cousin had that. I was like, we just looked at that, but like, yo,
Yeah.
how did they do this? It's like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Especially when he broke the, I guess if you want to call it breaking the fourth wall, he broke the title.
That's the yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I know it. I know that.
crazy.
As a matter of fact, I got the on the floor. What am I doing? Right there.
Mhm.
Right there is a stack of my artist editions. If you're familiar with those are all these oversized,
Mhm.
replicas of what the original art looks like.
Right.
I got a Walt Simonson Thor, oversized. This thing is like huge. It's pretty big. Yeah.
My God. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and when I was a kid, he was the first dude that I kind of noticed. I learned like, oh wow, this guy is. I know his art. I could pick his art out, and that's when it started to dawn on me that different artists have different styles. If that makes sense. I mean, we were reading the stories, but he was the first guy that I discovered. Like, oh wow, wait, I can tell his work. This is this guy named Walt Simonson's work.
Yeah. Oh man. Another one. I mean, there were so many. Like, I remember the covers were like Steranko when he had those. Like, those were incredible and crazy.
His design sense,
yeah. But then I remember Perez when he had like his, and I think he was at DC at the time, but I would collect DC just for his artwork.
Yep. He did this book called Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw his work. And, I'm a kid, so I'm like, how is he drawing all those characters this small? I didn't understand that.
It's so good.
It blew me away. I mean, even if it was printed, 20 by 40, that's still insane the amount of and I saw since then I've seen his originals like a ton. And funny story, his inking was very loose. You couldn't tell with all the intricate details and stuff, but it was very loose. But yeah, he definitely was one of the, you talk about the Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah.
I think he's on it. Simonson, those guys are on it. John Byrne, he's another one.
Kirby, of course.
X-Men was everything. X-Men was absolutely X-Men. So I got a nerd out some more here. I got me and Mike Del Mundo. We always do this hip hop comparison about like who's the Rakim of comics, right? Who's the artist or the writer that you would consider the Rakim of comics? And we said Frank Miller. We said Frank Miller was the Rakim of comics. He's the guy that did. But Walt Simonson is like the KRS one of comics. Like, it's like there's like you ain't gonna be able to, put him in a box and he does his thing and you're not gonna. You gotta kind of know a little bit of both of who they are to kind of make it make sense. But but yeah, we do that kind of stuff all the time.
Who's Chris Claremont?
Oh gosh. Now he's a writer, so we were thinking artist.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we can play that game.
Who would Sienkiewicz be?
Okay, so here,
he's
that's
cool.
a good one. That's funny you said that because I was gonna say only because Sienkiewicz is such a luminary and he's still huge, and he's super influential. Everybody wants to draw like him, or at least like we didn't understand who he was then, and he became what he is, and he never really compromised his art. Maybe he's more the KRS one, just to be honest with you, still relevant, still doing his thing, still doing what he does, no compromise. I think John Byrne is Chuck D. I do think
Oh
that.
wow.
Yeah.
You know, he is he was a force that coming out the gate. You know,
Mhm.
hit his stride. You know, and did. I'm thinking, you know, John Byrne and the comparisons of their trajectories and stuff, and their importance. You know, that comparison stands out. You got to let him know that. He probably, I don't know if he would know who John Byrne is, but he might though. I think
Yeah, he might. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, Chuck, I'm
Yeah.
sure Chuck got. I mean, you know, Doc. I'm sure Chuck got a lot of his influence from comics.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, with
Yeah, sure.
stuff he draws.
Yeah, I just discovered it. He draws.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow,
Long time.
that's cool.
He's got a graphic design degree, right? That's what he went to.
Yeah,
He designed the PE logo.
Yeah.
that's crazy. What a awesome, you know, skill set to have in especially during that time, because you know, rights and ownerships and all that stuff. I can only imagine how weird stuff got when, you know, oh, I designed that, you know, logo and I should be, you know, I have the rights to it or whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he owns it outright. I would think, you know.
Yeah. He does. Yep.
Sanford, I gotta ask you this because I always have this. Me and a friend of mine, we're big comic heads, and we always get into this. We're on the same side, but I'd like to know what you think.
Mhm.
So you talked about growing up, and then there's certain black characters that you were drawn to, you know, like Power
Yep.
Man, and
Yep.
so we see certain characters that they may change up and then make them black or different race or however they do, ethnicity, male, female. But I would always get upset because I see people that don't really collect comics and they're like, yeah, make them this color, make them this. But I'm like,
Sure.
there's certain characters. I remember I used to collect Brother Man, the comic, and I would tell people,
Oh, that's
yo,
my man. That's my
right.
man Dawood, yeah.
But they just, I'm like, let these characters be there, but let's create new characters. Obviously,
Sure.
you know, Bitterroot, you have
Yeah.
original characters. How do you feel about that? Like,
I feel similar, man. I mean, look, the elephant in the room right now is Wonder Man, right? If you know the character Wonder Man, right?
Yep.
He's got a show coming out. The character is originally a white character. Now, I will say, a character like that I think that's pretty much the threshold, at least for me. One, because the character is not super well known, so it's not like taking, you know, Batman or Captain America even. I mean, I get it because the storyline can make sense for Sam Wilson to become Captain America, but
Right.
you still can have, you should still have Steve Rogers, right? You know, Wonder Man, I think you can kind of get away with, because he has some history, but he's not known to the masses. You know, we know who he is, but the masses don't. And I think that's it's a gift and a curse in some ways, that we know all this stuff. So it's kind of hard to be like, no, that's not out of character. You know, like the average person don't care, and so I have to get off the soapbox. But I hear you, man. I mean, you know, we don't have to race swap and gender swap everything.
right.
The new stuff.
Yeah, because when people start tripping, I pull out my West Coast Avengers comics and I'm like, yo, there's your Wonder Man.
Yeah.
West Coast Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what you felt about it. We always have this discussion and we're like, just create new characters.
Right.
And, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, that's honestly part of why we did Bitterroot was, you know, we were at a inflection point at the time where in our country we were trying to, I don't know, we were at an inflection point. We were somewhat of a reckoning, right? And it's 2017 moving into 18 week, we were wrapping up Power Man and Iron Fist. The Black Panther movie had just launched in 18, and and our country was losing their minds, right? So we had all this great influential stuff from a cultural standpoint, a creative standpoint, and then you have society, this weird unrest. I was describing this to someone the other day. It was kind of like you had these two worlds that were going to eventually collide, because you had this cultural impact. Black Panther, the Luke Cage TV show I just dropped, and that thing it broke the internet. That was like the first really big. And so we were being depicted in these incredible, powerful ways. And so we were clamoring for this. We as creators saw that, and we saw the need to build off of that. We were like, yeah, we can do another Black Panther, but why not venture out and give them something, new, and ultimately something that we own, because I don't own Black Panther or Storm or Falcon, and we started to see stories that were starting to come to surface, TV shows and movies that was highlighting a lot of historical things. Like you guys saw The Watchmen with Regina King, the TV show.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, that first episode was so insanely impactful, and this is part of how our Bitterroot, I guess the notoriety of it started to really take off, because we was using that same moment in history. Because in the show you saw they did a kind of a scene with the whole Tulsa massacre, and you saw on social media and around, there's so many people that didn't know about that and was blown away by the fact that was an actual moment in history. And then people started to discuss, well, there's a book out there called Bitterroot that's talking about this stuff already. And so we started to get a lot of attention. We got lots of attention, and it just kind of took off from there.
That's crazy, because that's exactly how it was. Because I don't think I got up on Bitterroot yet, but my homegirl Kira, who's not even in the comics, and then she was like, "No, did you check this out? I know you." I'm like, "Okay," and she wasn't even in the comics like that.
Yeah. And that was our goal too. We wanted to create something that, truth be told, that the average person could get into. You don't have to be in the comics. You can you just love good story, and you also could appreciate the history behind it. Our goal was to make this book transcendent. We didn't want it to be just in a comic book shop. We wanted it to be in a barber shop. Our goal was to get this thing in as many hands as possible. Of course, the libraries and stuff. And that's when it really, really took off, was the libraries. The library, I went to the huge National Librarian Conference in 2019. And was it 19? Yeah, it was 19. And those folks were so excited, and I'm like, wait a minute, you guys are the plugs. They're the plug. Like, the comic book stores is incredible, and we love them. But how do you really penetrate? Because we had such a time trying to figure out how to really get this book into the masses. Comic shops can do what they do. But now the next level is to, how do we get this into your friend? How do we get this book in her hands? And the libraries was the first level of that, because the libraries are huge advocates, right? They're the mouthpiece into the community at large. And so that started happening. And now bookstores, like the big ones, the Books a Millions and Barnes and Noble, all those guys are wanting it. And so, yeah, we were able to break through.
That's dope. Very dope. You mentioned Pete Rock earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. The return of the SP1200.
You know, someone told me the other day they were like, dude, are you like the go-to for all things hip-hop? And I'm like, I guess. I don't know, man. You know, you just kind of do it because you're a fan, and then you kind of take a step back and you're like, my God, I did a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. You know, even way before any of that stuff, I did a book for Method Man, a graphic novel. I think it was Abrams Publishing. It was like 2007, 8, somewhere around there. That was like my first, some of my first big work. Because I started out professionally around 2005, 6, and 2008, 7, 8 is where that Method Man came out. And but yeah, I did. Someone
That
asked,
would explain that question.
Yep.
Yep. I've done. Funny, I was supposed to do a Ghostface graphic novel. I was kind of burnt out on the Method Man one, to be honest with you. Not because it was a bad experience. It was like the deadlines was just so tight. That was my first experience into the comic publishing industry and the book publishing industry is two different animals. Like the book publishing industry is intense. I mean, comics is intense too, but it's kind of a quick in and out. You can get a book done and it's out next month. I don't know if you want that, you know, on an average basis, but
right.
But with book publishing, it's like 6, 7 a year in advance, but they treat it like, you know, you don't hear anything for like months, and then all of a sudden it's like everything is due yesterday and rough.
Sounds like the music industry.
Sounds, yeah.
Man. What are some of the other album covers that you worked on that you really are proud of?
From the Marvel hip hop variant?
Yeah, any of them.
Oh shucks. Hip hop related?
Because I think you did did you also do the one Doom record?
So my very, 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 very first anything that was before Method Man and all that stuff was MF Doom, his manager at the time, met me like 2005 or something like that, 6, and I did his Victor Vaughn. I did a Victor Vaughn.
That's what it was.
When he was using that persona.
Yeah.
I actually still have the CD with the art.
Wait, I did not know you did. Are you kidding me?
Not the first Victor Vaughn, the second one, right? The remix album. Is that what it was? Or?
Do I need to get it? I need to grab it so you can see it, or do you?
Vaudeville villain or venomous villain?
I don't know. I just did.
Wait, hang on, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Hang on. It was the venomous villain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me say this, Sanford. I'm gonna say this. It has nothing to do with your art. That's like the only MF Doom album that I really don't like, but it has nothing to do with your art.
Well, you know what's funny? I listened to it only once. I never listened to it again.
This is the album. He says, dub it off your friend. Don't spend that $10. I did it for the advance. The back end sucks. He says that on the album.
Wow. Well, look, hey, I guess he's onto something because I listened to it once and I was like, oh, okay, because this is right around the time where his persona was starting to really bubble and he was starting to become MF Doom, right?
Right.
He was doing all those other personas, but MF Doom was starting to become more. Yep, that one. That's it.
I did not know you. Yo, this is bugging me out now.
Yeah.
You know what? Because I don't like that album. That's probably. But it has nothing to do. The artwork.
That's okay. That's okay, man. Look, it's makes for a great drink coaster if you want to use it for that. Yeah.
Actually, that record is so long. That CD is so long out of print. It's worth money now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you might not want to use it as a coaster.
Okay. Well, let's look. Mine's mint because, like I said, I listened to it once. Put it on the shelf.
Yep.
So we're on Doom.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Doom one shot.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Doom one shot.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something. It only because it's sitting right on my desk. My desk is right in front of my computer. Have you guys ever seen that variant of that one? Can you see it?
Oh, what is it like a?
It's a platinum edition.
Wow.
Right.
That's crazy.
And are you guys familiar with these?
Was that 9.8?
Yeah, it's a 9.8.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Someone gifted me that, and I was like, finally, I got something.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. I had to flex a little bit on that one, but no, this thing is the gift that keeps on giving, man. I mean, obviously, with the film coming out next year, it's starting to have another resurgence. I mean, you go online, you see people talking about it, and as far as like the value and all that stuff like that. So it's kind of surreal. Like, dang, man, this thing. I just wanted to tell a cool Doom story because he's my favorite character, and that's your guy too. But yeah, Doom is my guy. And speaking of MF, putting the quote at the beginning, and how that happened was I was just writing out the story, and it hit me that what would be kind of cool initially was to do quotes throughout the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like MF Doom quotes throughout the story, and shout outs to my editor, Will Moss over at Marvel. He said well, it was he had two motives behind this. One, he wanted to make sure that the story we didn't try to shoehorn that kind of stuff in there, just to try to say, hey, look, we got lyrics throughout the it may not make sense. It would have been kind of convoluted, right? But the other thing was he didn't want the estate to so he was kind of like, yeah, let's the lawyers. It's like, dude, Marvel is so like, the gatekeeping that Marvel does is absolutely insane. It's a miracle. Yeah, it's a miracle that I got the quote at the beginning. But those are the that's the kind of thing that you can put on movies and stuff, or TV. One line, that's passable. That you can do that. But I was just trying to think. He was like, yo, what? He said, what if we do, like a really cool quote at the beginning of the story? And I'm like, yo, that sounds cool. And I was trying to think. So I went through every MF Doom song that had lyrics. 90% of his songs is about weed and beer. And then the one, part of me didn't want to go super mainstream like his most popular songs. I went through some other stuff to see if I can find something, and I said, let's just listen to the big ones. So listen to Accordion, the first few verses. I'm like, that's it, man, that's it. Especially because of what the story is. And so I told him, and he was like, all right, let's go. And then book comes out, and Complex makes a big statement about it on their news site or whatever, and now it went crazy. Now everyone wants it, and so that was really cool.
This is my man Uncle E down here. So he actually grew up with Doom and Sub Rock.
Oh, cool.
So
okay,
and he's part of the Get Yours posse. So
wow, dope.
Salute to Uncle E. See that story. Now you got me thinking. So you put the whole thing with like Galactus and Val. You put the whole.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Yeah.
I love that. That relationship between Doom and Val. I love that.
Yeah.
And like how you put that, and then with
Yeah.
Bravo, brother.
Thanks,
Bravo.
Thanks.
Bravo.
Well, if you dug that, stay tuned. We're
Oh.
working on something else. So
Okay.
it's not doomed though. I will say that. So that's all I can say.
Is it Moon Knight?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can't tell you. I can't confirm it. It ain't Moon Knight. I'll say that.
Okay. I just say Moon Knight is another one of my favorites, but I just
Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm not doing anything with Moon Knight, but someone reached out to me today from Marvel about they're doing a crossover, DC Marvel crossover now. They asked me about would I be interested in a Moon Knight crossover with another character from DC. I mean, you can take a wild guess who would be equivalent, So I was like, that's kind of cool, but they offered me a few, and there's another one that I'd say yes to, and that one I think is going to be nuts. That's going to, yeah.
I remember when they came out with the what is it? Was it X-Men Teen Titans or Alpha Flight? No, that was X-Men Teen Titans.
Yep, as well as Simonson.
Yeah. Oh.
I got it on my drawing board right now. I pulled that when I start a new project. I got my go-to section on the spinner rack, and I'll pull a bunch of the stuff from the go-to,
right,
and just soak it in. That's one of the books.
The fact that you have a spinner rack in there is so dope.
Bro, this spinner rack is holding on for dear life though, man. It's hurting. I'm almost scared to spin it.
Right.
Technically, I mean, I could spin it, but it has to be really slow because it starts to wobble, and then it starts to, if it hits, corners of my shelf over here, the books start to fall, and
brings back memories though.
Yeah.
That's so crazy because when I was a kid, I knew nothing about comic book stores. We go into like the 7-Eleven, or we have Wawa's here in Jersey.
Yeah.
And you'd have the spinner rack. And I remember the first time I went to an actual comic book store, I was like, what is this? Like a comic shop. And I was like, mind blown.
Yeah. The big ones up there is Midtown. I think Forbidden Planet is up there. That's New York, though. That's in New York.
We used to have Fat Jacks in Philly. I used to love that place.
Yeah. I think I heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the comic shop, with the specialty shops didn't really happen. They didn't form until like the mid 80s, like 85, 84, 85, somewhere around there. I think was where it all kind of. Truth be told, that was a gift and a curse for that to form. I mean, you had this, the gift is now you have this place, this specific place you can go,
right?
And you can get all kinds of stuff. You never miss anything because it was a crapshoot trying to go to a newsstand.
Right.
You want to figure out, I got to wait till the next month to get the issue of Spider-Man to see what happens, and you might get it, but that's also kind of the drawback was that comics were everywhere. When we were coming up, you can get them from everywhere.
Yeah.
You can only get them from the specialty shops.
Yeah.
Man,
Yep.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That's true.
Yep.
As we wrap up here, anything else you want to announce real quick?
I'm actually going to be up there. Well, up there, meaning New York. I'll be in New York the 19th at the Mass Appeal pop-up. I think that they're doing a big thing there, so I'll be there signing the Legends Has It issue.
Nice.
On the 19th, I think, or the 20th. So I'll be there doing that. Yeah, just stay tuned for the stuff I'm doing at Marvel and DC. We just made an announcement about Bitterroot. Actually, I can share that. We're doing this anthology, Bitterroot anthology, where we're bringing in an anthology is all these short stories collected.
Yeah.
So we're basically creating over a dozen stories with characters from all these different time periods. The back the history of the characters. This is family of monster hunters, and we started the story during the Harlem Renaissance time period. So we started to move forward to the 1960s, where the family is fighting these monsters, and then we're jumping around all these different time periods. So you see this lineage of the family and how they dealt with this infestation of monsters. And you'll find out why this infestation of monsters exists and why they have to fight them as well, right? So it's really, some deep commentary on, our country and the history and all that stuff, right? But yeah, so we thought it would be really cool to do, all these different time periods with the lineage, family lineage, and all these different periods where they fought, what they did when they were fighting the monsters in these different time periods. So that's the cool thing about our story. Our concept is that we can jump around to all these different time periods. So we can create all these new, unique visuals and story. We're doing one that we're going to do one in the 70s. Can you imagine what that looks like?
Wow.
Fighting in that look and the aesthetic of that time period.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy.
We're doing one in the 80s. So think everything we just talked about. Think 1988. What does that look like in 1988 when you got Public Enemy and
Wow,
De La Soul and Tribe and all these
that's
that
crazy.
aesthetic, and now we have our characters set in that time period, and we may even play around with the future stuff way beyond.
Oh, dope.
We're excited about what that looks like, and we got some really dope creators on this thing. So we're not just the ones doing it; we're kind of overseeing it. So we're bringing in some celebrities doing this thing too. We got celebrities that are writing. We got some heavy hitters, artists that are drawing. They're all of note. Everybody's and we, we're also bringing in some new blood too. Some really dope young writers and artists, female, especially female. So yeah, we're really trying to make this thing great.
Wow,
Fantastic.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yeah. Dope.
Look, I told those guys. I said, so Chuck Brown and David Walker are my co-creators on Bitterroot. I said, look, man, I'm gonna be real busy next year, so this anthology is probably a good thing because I ain't gonna be able to draw Bitterroot next year. I got some crazy stuff happening at Marvel and DC, and so we needed to keep Bitterroot going. That's the hardest thing, at least for me. Like, it's almost like the book comes out every other year now because I'm busy with stuff. Big two stuff. That's what we call Marvel and DC Big Two. We just call it Big Two stuff. And then but yeah, that was kind of a really good way to keep Bitterroot, in the forefront.
Yeah, that's
Dope.
dope. That's dope.
Sanford, tell everybody where they can follow you at.
Instagram, Sanford Greene. Pretty much everywhere is Sanford Greene with an E.
Yep.
Yeah.
Word. All right. Thanks, man. Thank you for coming through tonight.
Thank
Spending
you,
some time with
sir.
us.
Thank you. Sir.
Glad I made it, man. I was like, oh my gosh, Jennifer is gonna curse me out in the next email because she's very nice. All of her emails were so nice, and I barely responded to him. I said yes to the, and, you know, I guess that's all you need is just the confirmation. But
Yep.
It's all we needed.
yeah,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sanford Greene.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
awesome.
All right.
I could talk comics all night, man.
Bro, man, I haven't. Yeah. Wow.
Man.
I haven't read comics in a long time, so.
The funniest email in the world had to come from Sanford Greene. When I sent him the email and he said, that sounds like a lot of fun. You do know I don't rap, though. Yeah, well aware of it.
Yep. Yes, we
Yeah.
do. We know. We know.
As long as you listen, just love hip hop. That's all we
Yep. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Just gotta love it. Love it like we love it. Oh man, yeah, that was cool. That was
dude, you see me, I'm nerd out over this stuff.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah.
And he said he only had 30 minutes, but
Oh. Well, that was double extra cool then. Wow.
that flew out the window.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And that you know what? That's not the first time that's happened on this show. So
Right.
you know, that's good. That's cool. Makes me feel like we're doing all right. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like us. They really like
Yeah,
us.
exactly. How you feel up in this
Hey,
bitch?
Mikey.
Yeah. Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it. Oh man. Yeah. So there you go, folks. There's our show for tonight. You know, stay tuned for more Channel Zero content. I guess David Mocha will be around tomorrow. Last week they had they went through MC Search's debut solo album.
Yes.
Return of the Product, and MC Search himself showed up in the comments and gave some additional commentary. So
there you go.
Really?
Go back and check out that episode. You can learn some valuable information about Return of the Product.
When are we going to get Search on this show?
I don't know. He might be a little more susceptible, you know, to coming on now.
Come on, Search.
Yeah. And now that he's aware of the happenings at Channel Zero. Sorry, needed a drink there, but yeah. So check in, see if Dave and Mocha are around tomorrow. Of course, we'll have the mixtape on Sunday, and we'll be playing the tunes of our upcoming guest for next week. Well, who we got coming up next week?
Actually, the guest will be playing the tunes.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So this week's mixtape
Because
is
it's none other than Finsta from Finsta Bundy.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Finsta's new project, and he'll be DJing his very own mixtape on Sunday, the guest DJ. So check that out. Sunday night here at Channel Zero, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll be back next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Finsta from Finsta Bundy. Thank you, everybody watching live, everybody watching on the replay. Please like and subscribe. We got lots of great content here at It's C-Doc again and Channel Zero. And yeah, we'll see everybody next week for another episode.